This is Mike Bradford up at Clay Madsen Recreation Center in Austin, Texas. One of the great racquetball clubs here in Austin, Texas. And I'm here with Cody. How you doing, Cody?
I'm doing great.
Cody, let's get you mic'd up.
So yeah, tell me a little bit about how you got started in racquetball.
Sure, yeah, so that was just it. I mean, I was probably 18 years old and I had never even heard of the game, and I went by that outdoor four-wall court and I started playing with a group of guys in doubles, and it was the kind of thing where I had to play well, otherwise if I lost I had to sit out because it's a challenge court. So both courts were a challenge court. So I had a lot of incentive to get better just because I wanted to play with all those guys. So I would go in the afternoons when no one was there and just hit by myself and learn the mechanics. I would watch some pro videos. I would watch some YouTube videos. Like you mentioned, Rockin' Carson has a channel where he works on some pro tips. I know Ben Croft had some that I used. I used the Fran Davis. I bought her book, the Racquetball Warehouse. Actually, someone handed it to me at the court, said, here you go, this will help you out. I think that, and it was really helpful. So there's a lot of resources. What I found is after about 3 to 6 months of playing racquetball, you're able to really hit all the shots and it gets way more fun.
Oh yes, absolutely. Once you can hit the wall every time,
right,
on purpose,
right,
then you might just get hooked.
Yeah. Once you get a rally going and you feel the intensity of hitting the ball really hard, because there's not a lot of other sports where you can hit the ball that hard. And in fact, this might be one of the fastest sports.
Totally. Yeah. Right after, right when we stopped doing lessons,
yeah,
I just clocked at 100.
Wow.
Right after we finished.
Wow.
I need to get back there.
Yeah.
But yeah, just that 1 month that we did lessons, I went from like 75 to almost 110.
Wow. Yeah, and it's fun to do. I mean, when you go in and you work on it, and the next thing you know, you're firing a shotgun, and it feels good. I can just go in there and burn some steam and work on my swings, on my forehand, my backhand. So, yeah. And another thing is fun, it's really satisfying to hit all the shots of the game. Racquetball has so many different shots of the game. You can create shots. So we see Kane play all the time. Kane Waslinchuk, the #1 racquetball player, he's still inventing shots and just making things up. It's not like many other sports. It allows you to be really creative. There's definitely a game element to it. It's not just working out.
Absolutely. Yeah, the most satisfying thing that happened today, I was playing earlier, I did a tweener winner in between the legs.
Yeah.
It hit the side and...
Right. That's pretty much, that's the happiest moment of my life, if I'm hitting a ball between my legs.
Or like this one,
out.
This one right here.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I didn't look at this ball at all. It was just instinct, accident.
Right.
Half instinct, half accident.
Yeah.
So for beginner players, what are some good things to know if you never played racquetball, you want to get started in it, or you just want to hear about how to do it or where to look this stuff up?
Right. So first thing I recommend is if your town has outdoor courts, those are the easiest, most accessible. Usually they're free, or maybe you have to pay a couple bucks to use them. You could do that, and you'll have to bring your own racket, which you can get a racket at Walmart pretty easily for 20 bucks, maybe even less than that. You get a couple balls. The balls aren't very expensive. You do need eye guards. You probably need a glove.
There's a beginner kit that comes with ball, eye guards, and racket for like 30 bucks.
Right. So that's a great way to get started. Another way is to come out to one of these clubs that are indoor, and a lot of times the front desk will have the gear for you. And they'll have everything you need. They won't have gloves usually, but you can start playing without a glove.
You can start playing without a glove. Yeah. You don't necessarily need a glove until you can hit the front wall all the time.
Some of these guys aren't even wearing gloves, so
Right. I would say it's nice to have a glove, but once you start hitting the front wall with consistency, that's when you need one.
Yeah.
But eye guards.
The only thing you absolutely need are eye guards. Don't try to learn how to play without eye guards. It's very dangerous. You need a strap. It's a tether. What is it called?
Wrist guard.
Wrist guard. Yeah, to make sure the racket doesn't slip out of your hand. If you get those two things, and then you're safe. You don't swing the racket when somebody else is standing too close to you. In racquetball, that would be a hinder. We would stop and just replay the point. If you're in a tournament, maybe they would assess a penalty for somebody getting in the way. But those are the main things to know, I would say. And always keep your eye on the ball. And, you know, when you start, even as a total beginner, don't go look away from the ball and set up, because that's just a recipe for disaster. You're going to get hit by somebody. But if you can do those things, racquetball, I would say, is a really safe sport compared to just about anything else, right?
Absolutely. Very few injuries so far from racquetball.
Right.
I think I've had more from tennis than I have from racquetball.
Yeah, the biggest thing is just overuse, because you get addicted and then you start playing every day.
That's what I totally agree with you. That's why after you showed me how hard I can serve, I had to back off a bit, because I was doing like 100 a day.
Yeah.
And I did that for 7 days in a row for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then I was like hurting.
Yeah, the same thing still happens to me. As you start to get better, what you learn is if you get the mechanics right, it doesn't put so much stress on your body. And one thing I like to say to somebody that's just starting out is, you don't have to overswing. You don't have to power through the ball with your hand. Actually, if you look at some of these guys, it's like they're barely even moving. And it's just that momentum and the centrifugal force of pulling a racket around, snapping it around, that really gives you power. So that's one way to hurt yourself, and it doesn't actually help your game to try to overpower it.
Right. But what I was saying is, I started taking days of training.
Right.
Because I was doing things and then just doing racquetball.
Right.
And I wasn't getting any better on the other stuff.
Yeah.
And just my arms were hurting.
Right.
Just my arms and legs. And then, so I started training the other stuff. Then I had plenty of use with my arms left, spacing it out a little bit.
Yeah.
So we're in the racquetball season. If you're not a pro, there is no real off season. Racquetball is 365 days a year. Sure. And if you're at Lifetime, it's really 365 days a year, because 24 hours a day, you can play anytime you want.
Yeah.
And what's going on in your season? What does your season look like this year?
Yeah.
And what does that mean?
Yeah, I'm excited. So I haven't played tournaments for a while. It's been 6 or 7 months since I played a tournament. I got hurt at the last one, so it took a little while off.
Which one was the last one?
The U.S. Open. I played
the U.S. Open?
Yeah, the U.S. Open in 2018. So since then, I haven't played a tournament.
So the one with this shirt?
Right, yeah,
okay.
Wearing the shirt.
Where is the U.S. Open located right now?
It's in Minneapolis, and it's just so much fun. Last year was my first year to go out there, and you just see all the racquetball players. Since I've lived in multiple cities and played racquetball there, I see a lot of old friends from back in college, and it's a really great time. So I'll try to make it out again this year. And talking about training, really working, that's the big tournament to train for. So even though it's quite a few months out, I'm training right now for the U.S. Open in 2019.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'd say everybody every year is training for one big tournament, and all the other tournaments are training for that tournament.
Right.
So, yeah, just like, and what are the days for the U.S. Open?
I think it's early in October.
I believe it's somewhere close to October 2nd through the 6th.
Yeah.
is probably the dates.
Right.
And the week before that is the one that I'm going to, the one I'm training for right now,
Right.
which is the one I'm ranked higher than him, because again, he doesn't have a ranking, I do. So, you know, top 20 in Texas right now in singles. There's not a lot of people in Texas, so I'll put that out. But training for the Las Vegas 3-wall World Outdoor Tournament.
Right.
Last year was a blast, and I was super sick. So all I got to do was play racquetball and sleep. And so I didn't get to enjoy Vegas at all.
Yeah, I did that one year, and they combined handball with racquetball in the Vegas tournament. At least they did the year I played it, and that was cool because at the time I was playing both sports. So
you were playing some handball
too. Yeah, so I was following the top handball players, and I got to see the top handball players and the top racquetball players, and be in Las Vegas, which is just a pretty cool place to be if you have to have some time off. You got to use your vacation days.
And the latest match on the 3-wall is usually about 8 o'clock. So if you know anything about Vegas, you can do things before 8 o'clock, but most of the things that happen in Vegas happen after 8 o'clock.
Yeah. So we're excited about these tournaments, and I'm getting a little bit serious about my training for the last 3 months. I'm, spending more time stretching, working out, being in the court by myself, practicing shots. Just all the stuff and that's what makes a difference. That's usually where I see a lot of improvement, as opposed to just coming to the club and playing doubles a couple times a week. That does make you better, especially if you play with good players. But so that's the way that I'm training right now for the season, and I'll definitely hit up a few tournaments along the way to the U.S. Open.
Which I'm looking forward to Howard's tournament, which he just announced on the podcast about 30 minutes ago. It's going to be next month on July 6th and 7th, or whichever weekend that is. I'm not sure if those are the right dates, but it'll be there. It'll be first weekend of July. And this one is a great one to come out to. Howard's tournament, he always puts on a really fun tournament.
He is funny. He puts on a funny tournament. That's a great way to describe it.
Yes, I would describe it that way. Last time, my first division, I won by default.
Okay. Oh well, congratulations.
I was the full.
Did you get a trophy for that?
Yes, I did.
Nice. I was pretty proud of that trophy.
Howard was like, "Would you like your money back, or would you like the points?" I was like, "Screw the money. I want the points. I
earned this.
I
showed up.
2 people forfeited so that I could win."
I've won tournaments in similar circumstances.
I don't know if I get any points for that, but a win is a win for me.
Yeah.
And I did get $10 from Academy. But I definitely paid more to enter the tournament than the $10.
Yeah, I'm excited about his tournament because it's a local tournament. So you see all the local players around Austin. They show up out of the woodwork. The nearby cities like San Antonio and Fort Worth actually has a lot of players.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so we get a whole lot of old faces around, and we have a lot of fun at these local tournaments. And it's great training for the big tournaments.
And the next week after that, 2 weeks after that, Jody has one at Lifetime.
Oh yeah,
South.
That's gonna be fun. Yeah, Jody Morris is another one. So we've got Howard Walker here. He's one of the tournament directors. Jody Morris is another great tournament director in Austin, and he's just a great member of the community overall.
Yeah.
He puts a lot of people together. He does coaching for kids, and I think he runs a lot of that program at the Lifetime Center.
He runs the whole Lifetime South.
Right.
And he's let me video him and Kane playing doubles before.
Okay. Cool.
And it's just a lot of fun.
Yeah. Austin, Texas is a great city for racquetball. We even have Kane Waslinchuk, and
we have Kane Waslinchuk, Scott McClellan, Bruce, I don't remember his last name. He'll tell me next time I
there's so
see
many
him.
good players.
Bruce
Justice
Robles.
Benson, he plays on the Pro Tour. He plays over here.
Just graduated Alejandro Almeida. He is just graduated UT student, former president of the UT Racquetball Club.
Right.
By
the way, a pretty good handball player.
Current inactive pro racquetball player at the age of 18 to 21.
Yeah,
I'll ask him next time.
There's so many players in town, and there's great resources for learning racquetball. There's great resources for being able to play with people at any level. And there's a lot of clubs. We have, 5 or 6 clubs in Austin?
We have at least 5 or 6. Yeah, we have Lifetime South, Lifetime North, the Clay Madsen Recreation Center in Round Rock, Texas. Right. We have LA Fitness.
There's 2 of them
North,
mainly, right?
LA Fitness on South Lamar,
yeah.
Anderson and South Lamar.
University of Texas.
And then the University of Texas, which has the most courts.
Right.
University of Texas has 10 courts in the Gregory Gym, and it has 4 to 5 courts in the University of Texas Recreational Center.
Yeah.
And so you can almost always get in a game, and the UT students are fun to play.
Yeah.
In fact, I would actually suggest that if you're a new player and you wanted to try out, UT students are great people to play against.
Right.
Because they're all young, they're willing to play.
Yeah.
And they go all the way from beginner all the way to pro.
Yeah.
Which is incredible.
Yes.
Incredible.
That's the cool thing. That's one of the reasons why I live in Austin, Texas. There's so many great players here. Texas in general is a great place for racquetball. So it's glad to see, some of you guys watching and interested. We have a lot of great ideas for what we can do with the racquetball community as far as tournaments go. We have challenge courts running around town, which are great ways to go and meet other players. We have people that do coaching, like Scott McClellan and Jody Morris. They do coaching. I think Howard even does. Howard doesn't do paid coaching, but he works with a lot of players. He
will coach you.
Yeah.
If you ask for his help.
And probably if you don't too, but
I haven't had that happen yet, but I'm sure if I come more.
No, he's great. He's great. So there's resources everywhere you turn for racquetball, and it's great to have you out here working with some of these players and interviewing them. Who are some people that you have coming up that you want to talk to?
Right now, already guaranteed. I have some stuff for just random podcasts.
Right.
But for racquetball, right now, I have Jody Morris, Ramon Flores is. We did him for episode 1. He said.
Really
he said
cool.
he'd do another episode.
Cool.
Vanita Mitchell,
right.
she does a lot of the military racquetball tournaments, and she was the desk woman at the San Antonio shootout in May, and she'll do one. I'm hoping to get Mike Cantu, and so far everybody I've asked said yes.
Great.
Howard Walker, we're gonna get him in a couple weeks. Hall of Fame racquetball player, and I'm just going to try and get everybody in from every skill level that's interesting enough that I want to talk to in racquetball, and we're gonna see how it goes. And so far, everybody who I've talked to has something to say.
Great.
And we're gonna go from everything from 10 minutes to as long as the interview needs to go. Because here, we have a lot of interesting stuff to say, and there's a lot of stuff upcoming.
Right.
Ooh, don't want to forget this. There are 2 guys, I almost forgot this, so I don't want to forget this. The U.S. Open, 2 of the former champs are coming back to Minneapolis to the U.S. Open to play doubles.
Really cool, yeah.
So I heard on Instagram the other day, Jason Menino and Cliff Swain are going to be a doubles team for Pro Tour.
Wow. Wow, that's going to be really fun.
Sudsy, I was really, really mad. I missed the Florida World Outdoors.
Yeah.
Because Sudsy played the Florida Outdoor.
Right. So it seems like all the former top pros are still around and kicking and playing racquetball for the most part.
Most of them have been taking off for kids.
Right.
And are back.
Yeah.
It's like that. I'm done not being on the tour. I want to get back.
That's the cool thing. And there's a lot of great divisions, for senior master players, and you find they're pretty tough.
Yeah, and from what I've heard from Menino in prior interviews with one of the Racquetball podcasts, is that he stopped playing the pro tour to be the president of Racquetball, and so he was still itching to play. Yeah. He had plenty of gas in the tank, but he said he was needed.
Yeah, that's
and
great.
So he took a couple of years off. Hopefully in the future, maybe next year coming, we can also get him on, because I want to try and do most of these in person, very few over the phone.
Right.
So wrapping up, Mike, I hear that you were also teaching lessons in Austin.
Yeah, to the best of my ability. I'm also taking lessons, so I'm learning from some really great players right now, and just sharing what I know with others to try to, one, it helps me learn a little bit better, and two, it helps develop a lot of the players around in our community, which is the real goal. We just want to make everyone better so we can have more fun, play more racquetball. And so I do coaching as well. You can find me on Mike Bradford Racquetball Coaching.
Oh, do you have a website?
Yeah.
Wonderful. That's a new fact I did not know. Okay.
So I have a website, but it's going to be a Facebook group for Mike Bradford Racquetball Coaching, and it'll have that exact title.
Okay, so find him for Michael Bradford Racquetball Coaching. I think last time I saw your flyer, it was $40 an hour.
Yeah, I try not to charge too much, but it's casual, and if
very
you're local,
reasonable.
I'm glad to work with people.
Absolutely, man. So where can people reach you and get in touch with you?
Right. So probably the best way to do it is through my website. It's called bradfordonbusiness.com, which is where I do my business outside of racquetball. But you can reach me there, and we can set up coaching, or from the Facebook group, Michael Bradford Racquetball Coaching.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks for coming in today.
Yeah.
I know you had to drive in over here to the rec to come and meet me. So thank you. Wrapping up episode 2, Savage Sports Podcast.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming, Mike.